Did you actually complete it the second time?
Honestly, I don't know who the fuck to trust. Is he my friend or my foe? I'm off the exit, bro. Yeah, she give me that claim as well.
Hello and welcome to my 75 hard Q&A. Yesterday marked the final day of my second 75 hard challenge, and now that I feel like I'm a bit of a seasoned expert, I decided I'd do a Q&A where I ask you guys to send me in some questions and I answer those questions all about the challenge itself, how I found it, and so on. So I took to Instagram and I asked you guys for questions over there on my story, and you guys came through with some great ones. For anyone that's watching this video that doesn't already have me on Instagram, who doesn't already follow me, there will be a link to that in the description of this video, so do check that out. I post a lot of content over there, probably more so than any other platform, so if you enjoyed the video that you watched today, Instagram's the place to go. I'd appreciate a follow over there. So there were two places that I got questions from. People replied to my story and people actually sent me some direct messages as well. So I'm going to read out the replies from the story first, and then we'll go on to the questions that I got asked in my DMs, and there are some juicy ones, so let's get into it. So I'm recording this whole thing from my computer, which means that unlike other Q&As that I've done, I can actually just read them out from my phone. So I'm hoping that this video will be better than the Q&As that I've done before. And I mean, if you guys want to watch any of the Q&As that I've done, there's a few on my channel and there's a playlist, so you guys will be able to see them on my channel. But we'll start off with the first question, and this comes from lubes_food. And he said, well, no question, but you're looking amazing, mate. So I wanted to start with this one. Wanted to give Lubes a shout out because he's a great guy and he's been very supportive of me and the rest of the people in our little fitness community that we have. And I just wanted to say that I'm actually proud of my progress as well. I started out at 222 pounds back in October of 2023 and I'm now 185 pounds. I've lost nearly 3 stone. I think it equates to around 18 kilograms, nearly about 40 pounds, which is just absolutely incredible for me. I've done a lot of cuts in the past where I may have lost a few kilograms, maybe half a stone or something, and they just never seem to work out, to be honest. I always seem to fail in some way, shape or form. But I'm really proud of myself for actually sticking to this one, completing the challenge and getting the results that I've had. So thank you very much to Lubes Food. I appreciate that. If you guys like fitness content like this, go give Lubes a follow. He also makes and sells brownies for anyone in the Scotland area. So if any of you guys are from Scotland, go check him out. He makes some delicious food. The next question comes from my boy G.G.EO_7. He said, is chicken and rice good for a diet? And I know he's just joking about this one. I speak to G. quite regularly. But to be honest, it depends. See, a lot of people will eat chicken and rice because they think, that's healthy, that's what I should be eating. And, you know, they'll eat plain chicken and rice and that'll make up a lot of their meals and they'll eat essentially plain, boring foods like this. But I actually wanted to use this question, although it's a little bit of a joke, just to say about the fact that I've lost all this weight, but I haven't eaten in this way. I've still enjoyed so many nice, tasty meals. I'll pop a few screenshots on the screen for you to have a look at some of the foods that I've been eating whilst losing this 40 pounds in weight. And you'll see that I've enjoyed some tasty foods, which maybe you would even think are not good for a diet. But I'm here to say, you don't have to eat a certain way to lose weight. You just have to be in a calorie deficit. And whatever the easiest way for you to get into that deficit is, that's the diet that you should do. I will talk more about the whole calorie deficit thing, and I do actually have something for you guys at the end of this video. So please do stick around and you'll see what I'm talking about at the end. So thank you to G. for that question. Now we've got a question from Amy_Louise_TX, and she says, how are you feeling? And I think first and foremost, I've got to say that I'm just feeling really proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself for getting to where I am now. And I'm really proud of all the hard work and effort that I've put in over the course of the last couple of 75 hard challenges. But I'm also happy that it's over. That's the thing. And I'll speak a little bit more about that because I know that there's a couple of other questions coming up where I can go into greater detail on that point. But now that I'm no longer doing 75 hard, now that the challenge is over, I don't think I'll go back to it again. It has been amazing for me and I've seen some great results from it, but there are a couple of things that I ran into, a couple of problems I faced, especially during the second time. And again, you guys would have seen it from the thumbnail, you would have seen it from the trailer. I'm going to speak about this more in one of the other questions. Thank you to Amy for that question. And now we've got a few questions coming in from GA_gym tips. The first one is, was the first or the second time more of a challenge? And I guess I'm not sure if you'd be able to tell. Would the first time be the harder time because you're not used to it, you're going in sort of at the deep end? Or would the second time be harder because you've already done it once and now you don't have maybe the same motivation to continue to do it again? For me, the second time was the hardest, and it was by a significant amount. When I did this challenge the first time, I had a lot of weight to lose and I was in a bad position, and I essentially wanted to build a bunch of good habits I could take forward with me. When I finished 75 hard the first time, I think I'd lost 2 and a bit stone, something like that. I think I went down to 192 pounds at my peak, and I was so motivated and I was seeing the results each week, and it was new, fun and exciting, and it was just before Christmas as well, so I had this planned out. I knew that I was going to enjoy Christmas, but as I was seeing the weight drop off and I was seeing myself change, I really liked it and I really enjoyed the challenge. The problem that I faced the second time is that I already had these good habits instilled in me, and I wasn't starting from a place where I really needed something like 75 hard. So especially as it's got towards the back end, I found it really difficult to have that same motivation and drive to keep going with it, because I'm just at a place where I'm happy and the place where I wanted to be. I set a goal to get to 180 pounds this time, and we'll speak about the results in a little bit. But that goal didn't mean as much to me as the first goal that I set in the first 75 hard, where I wanted to get to 200 pounds. When I saw the scale tip from 200 to 199 pounds in the first 75 hard, that feeling I just could not replicate. That was just an amazing feeling. I really felt like I'd achieved something. But this time, at the start of 75 hard, I think I'd gone back up to 200 pounds. But to be honest, about halfway into this second time, I sort of got to a place where I was happy, which definitely made it a little bit harder. It wasn't the same vibe. I didn't have the same motivation and drive. But we're here now. So yeah, for me, the second time was harder. The next question by GA_gym tips is, what were your results like? So like I said before, from the first 75 hard, I went from 222 pounds to 192 pounds, and I'll post a picture of that on the screen for you right now so you can see my results from the first 75 hard. Starting my second 75 hard on the first day of this year, I was 200 pounds and I finished it at 185 pounds. So yeah, I actually didn't reach my goal of 180 pounds this time. Last time I smashed my goal by 8 pounds, but this time I think because there was just less weight to lose, I didn't do it, but I lost over a stone. I'm in good shape. My cardiovascular fitness is practically where I want it to be. And I just kind of want to build a little bit more muscle now. I've lost a bit of strength in the gym, especially when it comes to my compound movements. I've got to say, in terms of results, there is a negative side of that. I've lost a significant amount of weight from when I was 222 pounds. And my lifts just aren't as strong as they used to be. Like I say, especially with the squat, the bench and the deadlift, I need to put in more work with those. However, I don't want to gain a ton of weight. So my plan now is to main gain, have a very slight calorie surplus, not go up in weight too much over the next however long. I just want to focus on getting stronger in the gym, building up more muscle and just minimizing the fat gain. I'm still going to track my calories. I'm still going to be working out quite regularly. I'm definitely going to still do my cardio. That's one thing I've got to really give a shout out and a thanks to the 75 hard challenge for. It got me back into running, and I know now that I'm not going to stop. Everyone's trying to tell you in the fitness industry, don't do cardio, you don't need it for weight loss. Yes, you don't need it, but oh my God, does it help. It really does help. And it's not just about weight loss either. I feel healthier, I'm more fitter, my heart rate is lower. There's so many benefits to cardio. And I just can't believe that there are people out there that say that you shouldn't do it or promote against it. Do your cardio, and I'm going to continue to do my running, even now that I'm not doing 75 hard. So I lost 15 pounds. I'll give you guys a little before and after on the screen right now so you can see what I look like on day one of the second 75 hard and what I look like now. I think there is a little difference, but I can tell you for sure the difference between the first 75 hard before and after was a lot greater. So this is the last question now from GA_gym tips, and I want to give a big shout out to him. Thank you so much for all of these questions. You've made this video a lot better just on your own. So you guys, give him a follow on Instagram if you enjoy fitness content. He's got some great stuff on his page. But his last question is, what made you want to do 75 hard? I touched on this previously. I wasn't in a very good place in terms of my body and the way that I felt. I didn't feel good. I would say at least overweight, if not maybe you could class me as obese. I was very fat, and I just had this cope that I'm pretty strong in the gym. You know, I can bench 125 kilos. I can deadlift 5 plates off the floor. That's great, but I wasn't healthy. I didn't really have a good relationship with food. In terms of the fact that I just didn't really know what I was eating, I'd kind of lost sight of what calories are in what. I kind of lost sight of actually having a bit of discipline in terms of my food and actually allowing myself to feel hungry. And I didn't do any cardio. You know, I'd get into the habit of doing cardio. I'd maybe go on the Stairmaster, or I'd do the assault bike or things like that. But I would only do it because I was just not strong enough mentally to actually just go outside and do a run. This is not me saying that everyone should run, because there are certain circumstances that are going to make running actually worse for you. But for someone like me who's young, who should be in good shape, who has no real problems with their legs or knees or anything like that, I'd fully recommend running or cycling or some sort of outdoor cardio. There honestly is no replacement. I could do cardio in the gym, but I can tell you right now, it's just not the same. It's just not the same, and I can't put any science behind it, but from my experience, passing that down to you guys watching, there is no better cardio than going outside and doing something in the fresh open outdoor air. So I wanted to start 75 hard because I wanted to make a change. I wanted to build better habits. I wanted to lose weight. That was a big one. I wanted to lose weight, but I wanted some type of blueprint that could show me exactly how I can do this. Like just a plan of a bunch of good habits I can do every single day to get to the goal that I wanted to achieve. I also have something for you guys as well. I do have a 75 hard guide. If any of you do want it, I feel like this is a good time to plug it. The 75 hard guide has everything that you need to make 75 hard work for you, as well as my experiences and my tips and advice. If you guys want to get that, you'll see my PayHip website link in the description of this video. Go and check it out and use the discount code 75hardx2 to get yourself 40% off. I want to help you guys. Let's get you guys in the best shapes of your life. That's a big discount. That's the biggest discount that I think I've ever offered. But it's to you guys for watching my video, for watching it until this point, and I want to see you guys succeed. So go and have a look at my 75 hard guide on my PayHip website, and then come back because we've got a few more questions to answer. The next question comes in from Goodwin_fitness_90. Is the 90 the year he was born? I'm not really sure. But this question is, what's the hardest thing you found about 75 hard? So just briefly, what 75 hard is, the list of rules that you have to follow for 75 days are to follow a diet with no takeaways or alcohol. And so I chose to have a calorie deficit. I chose to follow a diet that was 2,500 calories per day on average, high in protein. I didn't follow anything super specific like keto or paleo or carnivore or anything like this, or low carb. I didn't really see the point. For more information on that again and how you can make it work for you, do check out the 75 hard guide. But as the diet side of things, you have to do 2 workouts a day, one of which being outdoors. You have to drink a gallon of water a day. You have to read 10 pages of a book every day. And you have to take a progress photo every single day. And I'm trying to think which part is the hardest, because it's a toss-up between the workouts and the diet. Was it the fact that I couldn't really go out and eat with friends? Or was it the fact that no matter how I felt, I had to do 2 workouts every day and one of them had to be outdoors? I think it was the diet. I think the fact that I couldn't go out and have meals and drinks with my friends at all, or my family or my girlfriend or anything like that, it's hard. You know, if you're going to do 75 hard, you've got to be prepared to sort of lock yourself away for a little bit. Know that you're doing this challenge and that's it. No exceptions. You're not going to have a takeaway because, oh, everyone else is going to have one, so I'll just join in, but I won't eat much. I'll just have a little bit of takeaway so I can. No, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Do that and you'll slip back into your old habits. And if you have any takeaway or alcohol, you failed a challenge and you have to start again from day one. So you do have to make sacrifices and maybe not see your friends and family as much, especially your friends, especially if you've got a lot of friends that are into their drinking, where a lot of the times when you meet up, it's about or revolves around alcohol and takeaways and stuff. You do have to take a step back, which can be really hard, but you've got to make that decision in your life to say, I need to change something. You know, maybe you're too fat, I'm too unfit, I'm not happy with the way that I am. You have to make it a priority and it has to come before other people. So I'd say that was the hardest bit. Thank you for that question, bro. That got a little bit deep. Right, we now have a few questions from Bosher.fitness, another fantastic bloke in the fitness industry. He's also an online coach. So if any of you guys need coaching, I would highly recommend checking out Bosher.fitness. He's got some excellent content and he knows what he's talking about. Trust me on that one. Check him out. The first question actually is hardest thing about the challenge. So I actually didn't look at that for a little while. I didn't realize they were like the same question. So I just told you it was like the diet. It was the fact that you have to make sacrifices and put yourself first. The second question is a good one. Do you find it too aggressive to keep up for longer than 75 days? And the answer is yes. The main reason being is that I just feel like I need a rest. That's the thing, like, especially when it comes to muscle gain, rest days are so important. And you can make things work by adding in a stretch routine or a walk or something like that to make it a little bit less intense. But the fact of the matter is, you got to do stuff every day. You can't go out and have any takeaway, go to a restaurant, go and have drinks with your friends or family or anything like that. It's very restrictive. And for me, it's a good way to instill good habits into you and get you out of the bad ones. But once that's occurred, I don't think it's wise to keep it up for more than 75 days. And it certainly isn't easy. Tonight, I'm going to go and enjoy a Chinese and some drinks. Not many, just a couple of ciders with my parents and my girlfriend. And I honestly can't wait. I have missed it. But now that I've got the good habits in my mind of not drinking every weekend, not always opting for a takeaway all the time, I think it's been a good thing for me. But yes, definitely, I would agree. I would say it's too aggressive to keep up for more than 75 days. All right, and the final question from Bosher.fitness is, what's the biggest thing you learned about yourself on the journey? I think there's two answers to that question. The first question is what my mind and body are capable of. And the second question is how bad I actually was at the start. So let's go to the mind thing. There's been so many times during this journey where I've been hungry and I've wanted to eat something, but I've got no calories left. And I've pushed through and I haven't eaten that thing that would tip me over my calories. There's been so many times where I really just haven't been asked to do a workout. I don't want to do it. I look outside, it's pouring with rain and I've got to go for a run. And I just go and do it anyway. This is a thing for everyone. You are stronger than you think you are in your mind and in your body. If you've got a goal and you know that doing this run in the pouring rain or not eating that piece of cake is going to help you achieve it, and you're determined and driven to get to your goal, you can overcome that. I promise you, you can do it. And that's a big thing that I've learned, that my mind and body are a lot stronger than I think they are. And that's something that I'm going to take forward into the future. And the second thing is just how bad I was. Let's not beat around the bush. Like, I was obese. I was very large. I had no cardiovascular fitness. I ate too much. I drank too regularly. And I needed to change and I didn't even know it. Because the thing is, now when I look back, I look terrible, realistically. When I look at myself in the mirror now, I'm so proud of what I see. And I get a lot of hate on social media, especially on Instagram, because it's been blowing up a little bit recently. I had a couple of videos with, a few 100,000 views and whatnot. And that's not me trying to flex. But there's a lot of people on there telling me that I don't even look like I've been training for a week, that I don't look like I've even trained at all and whatnot. And that could be demotivating to some, but I just look at myself in the mirror and I look at where I've came from, and I'm so proud of myself. And no comment on Instagram or social media or anything can change that. So that's the thing that I realized, is that I was in a bad place and now I'm in a really good one. And I ain't going to go back to that bad place. And like, when I say bad place, I don't mean mentally. I was actually very happy with life, and I still am. Just in terms of like my physical and, would you say, mental fitness? I guess because I didn't really have like the determination, or I could never really force myself to go out for runs and whatnot. I'd look and I'd be like, oh, it's, bad weather. Well, I would even skip out on walks. I'd be like, can't be bothered today. I might just spend my lunchtime indoors, just chilling. And something needed to change. And I definitely learned that what I was doing, I can't go back to that. And I never will. It's like I say, I've built the habits now. I'm just going to keep them there as best as I can. And while I will incorporate some takeaway and alcohol in here and there, I now know what balance is, I feel like. And I'm going to have to keep reminding myself of it, because it's so easy to fall back into bad habits. But doing 75 hard has taught me what balance actually is. Everyone tells you to have balance, but if you don't know what balance is, if you think balance is having takeaway and alcohol every weekend, then maybe you need to spend some time about it to realize what balance actually is. So that's definitely something very important that it's taught me. And yeah, I've definitely learned a lot about myself. So Bosher, thank you very much. It got deep again, but thank you very much for that question, bro. Okay, so Callum Dolby _ said, did you actually complete it the second time? I didn't complete it. It's hard to admit, because I've not really failed as such. Like, I didn't really just have a blowout or anything like that, but I just stopped tracking my calories. Today is the first day where I'm outside of the challenge, and it's the first takeaway that I'm having this Chinese tonight. And it's the first sip of alcohol that I'm having as well. So, I didn't have any takeaway or alcohol for the whole 75 days. But there are other things that I just didn't do. There was the occasional stretch routine that I missed on a Saturday. And this only really happened in like the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think it just got too much. Especially because I'm now running every single day for charity. If you guys want to check out my charity fundraiser that I'm doing right now, please do check it out. We're raising money for cancer research, so please do check out that fundraiser. It will be in the description once again. But I think sometimes you can take on a little bit too much. And I definitely feel like that sort of tipped me over the edge, taking on that challenge. So I stopped tracking my calories. I've missed a couple of workouts. I don't think I've missed a gym session or a run though, which is why I don't really feel like I've failed as such. But I didn't complete the challenge. Like, I can't say categorically that I did everything I needed to do every single day, because I did miss some stretch routines. I did stop tracking my calories. I did stop tracking how much water I drank. And I drink a lot of water anyway, but I definitely feel like there was a handful of days, not many, but just towards this back end of the challenge where I didn't get my water in. And I'm pretty sure I missed a day of taking the progress picture as well. The first 75 hard, I can guarantee you with 100% certainty that I did everything every single day and I completed that. And I'd probably say for like the first 50 something days of this challenge, I didn't miss a beat. I did everything, but it's just the last couple of weeks of this challenge, the last 2 to 3 weeks, where I fell off the wagon a little bit. And it shows in my results. I was on track to hit my 180-pound goal. I was at 182 like about a week or two ago. But I've just gone back up because I stopped tracking my calories and I stopped being so strict. So yes, to answer the question, I didn't do it. I didn't complete the 75 hard challenge twice. But I think it is important to say I don't think it's something that people should do twice. The reason why I did it twice is because I just wanted to be that guy. I feel like ego can get the better of a lot of us. And, if I'd have done dry January or something, or if I'd have just had my selection of rules that weren't as crazily challenging as 75 hard, perhaps maybe I could have done something like 75 soft, where I had 1 day of active recovery and I did allow myself to have a takeaway or two and I just focused on eating healthily, I maybe wouldn't have lost even over a stone if I hadn't tracked my calories. So I think I definitely should have still done that. And I need to get back on that calorie tracking wagon as well, because I eat very differently day to day. So if you eat the same foods every day, I don't think you need to track every day. Once you know how many calories it is, why do you need to track the same things again? It doesn't make sense. But if you're like me and I love to cook and I make different things every day and I have different snacks, like, you still need to track. You still need to know what you're putting into your body. But yeah, I didn't complete 75 hard twice. Let's say I did 1.75 times 75 hard. But I don't want this to discourage anyone. If you're in a bad place right now, if you need something to instill better habits into you, get you out of bad habits, and you need some results, I would highly recommend doing 75 hard. Just make sure it's at a convenient time for you. Don't do it over Christmas. Don't do it when you've got a holiday that's going to be in the middle, because you won't stick to it. But do it at a time where it's going to work for you. And, you know, don't be too lenient with yourself. Like, if you know you've got 75 days now and like, oh, so-and-so's birthday is coming up next month, they've got another birthday. Don't worry about birthdays. You don't need to worry about that. Someone can have a birthday and you can not overconsume calories or drink alcohol. You can stick to what you need to do. But if you personally have something coming up, if it's Christmas, if you've got a holiday that you can't avoid, don't do it then. But if you've got a holiday in like 4 months' time and you don't have anything super urgent, super pressing that's going to happen in the next 75 days, do it. Honestly, do it, because I cannot credit 75 hard enough for the results that I've achieved. It's pretty much solely down to 75 hard, if I'm being honest. But just don't do it twice. Just once you've done it, keep those good habits in place. Maybe dial back a little bit because it is a bit over the top. But just make sure you keep up your daily workouts, keep up tracking your calories, keep up eating good foods. Don't go back to eating takeaway and alcohol all the time. And just take them habits into your everyday life after 75 hard. Don't go back into day one. I don't think it's worth it. I've got to give a big shout out to Callum Dolby for that question, because I needed to get that off my chest and I needed to say it. So thank you for that one, Dolby. Okay, so now we're going into the DMs. I've got a few questions in the DMs and I'll wrap them up fairly quickly because this video is already quite long. But we've got a few here from Yusuf. He says, would you recommend 75 hard for someone who's only 1 year into their fitness journey? And I still would say yes. I think put the amount of time you've been training aside. If you feel like you're in a position where you're doing a lot of bad habits and you're finding it difficult to stick to the good habits, honestly, I'd say give 75 hard a go. If you got the time to do it, if you got nothing pressing coming up, like I said before in a previous question, I see no reason why you shouldn't. Especially at the start of your fitness journey, I think it is quite hard to have that regular schedule there. Whereas, you know, I've been going to the gym 7-8 years. It feels weird for me to not go. But if you're someone that is struggling with going to the gym at the moment, if you struggle to stay on track, I think 75 hard is a great tool for that. It just essentially gives you a blueprint to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So, yeah, I think regardless of how long you've been doing your fitness journey for, I think it can work for everyone. He also asked what the hardest part about the challenge was, which we answered earlier, so I'm not going to answer it again. And he did say, what would you change about your approach to it if you started again? And to be honest, I don't think I would actually change my approach. I think that the approach that I took was actually very good. I think I handled it very well. I think with people going into the 75 hard challenge, I think a problem that people often face is that they go 0 to 100. They choose a diet that's too strict. They're trying to run every single day or trying to do intense cardio every day because they think that that's what the challenge is about. But I think because I chose a diet that I could stick to, because I incorporated stretching and walks into my daily activity, I made it manageable for me. And the results speak for themselves. It's not like I didn't get good results because I didn't run every day. The point of 75 hard is to build habits. It's not about doing the most intense cardio or weightlifting session every single day. It's not about becoming a carnivore. It's just about getting your life in order. So when it comes to my approach, I genuinely think I did it very well. And this is the reason why I made my 75 hard guide, because I feel like I really nailed it, especially on the first time. And so for that reason, I wanted to actually share my knowledge with other people who are looking to start, to say, actually, you may think you have to do all of this work, but just try it this way. And the tips that I give in the 75 hard guide apply to everyone, regardless of your starting point, regardless of how far along in your fitness journey you are, regardless of whether you want to lose weight or gain weight. The information I provide in this guide tells you everything that you need to know. And because my approach seemed to work so well, I decided I wanted to help other people with that side of things. So that's what you guys can expect to see in the guide. We also have a question here from hey_dang in the DMs, who said, what was the biggest obstacle when you first started? I think for me, it was essentially breaking the bad habits. I don't think it's very hard to start good habits. I think it's kind of hard to continue to do them, but you can put yourself into an environment where it's easier to do those good habits. The obstacle that I faced was having to start saying no. People are going to be having a takeaway. People are going to be having drinks. They invite me I get invited to something with the boys. They're going to the pub. I know they're all going to get drunk and drink and stuff. And I started having to say no to that. I get asked if I want to go out for food for a takeaway, but I'm not eating food in takeaway, so I have to start saying no to that. That's the hardest part, because it's hard enough as it is to say no to people when you actually want to do something, but especially when it is a habit, that's the hardest thing for me. That was the biggest obstacle, was breaking those bad habits and having to say no to people when I actually wanted to do the thing that they were doing. That was the biggest obstacle for me. Thank you, Hey, for the question. And I knew this was coming. How could I not end with a question from my guy Dan, McCormick17? He was in the DMs and he asked, how different was the second one to the first one you did? Was it harder or was it easier as you'd done it before? And this is something I was explaining before. This is a nice way to round things out. It was harder the first time because I didn't know what I was doing. But it was harder the second time because I didn't feel like I needed it. And so it's a question of what's harder, starting something new when you have less knowledge, or doing something that you feel like you don't need. And to be honest, I think that the second time was harder. And I think that shows by the fact that I didn't actually end up completing it. So I'd say the second time. Guys, thank you so much for all of your questions over on Instagram. I'll probably do something like this again in the future on a different topic. So if you guys want to get featured in a future YouTube video, make sure you guys go and follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. I've got one more announcement to close out this video, and that is that I've released my no BS guide to weight loss. There's so much BS out there in the fitness industry, on social media, when it comes to weight loss, that people forget what they actually need to do. People forget the reasoning behind all of these little things that come out, all of these little diet hacks and tips and all of these diet plans and different diets that you can do. People forget about the fundamentals. People overcomplicate things. And when people are looking to lose weight at first, they think, I don't know what diet to do. I don't know how to work out. I don't know what cardio I should be doing. This is no BS. Once you read this guide, you will know how to lose weight and you won't be confused anymore. I promise you. It's a guide of just over 10 pages. I've tried to keep it as simple and concise as I could. I've tried to give you guys all of the information you need with none of the information that you don't. All of that stuff is cast aside and we've just got the essential things that you need to lose weight. You can check that out. It will be on my PayHip website, as with my 75 hard guide. Honestly, if you guys pair them two up, you will succeed. I promise you. If you have the 75 hard guide and the no BS guide to weight loss, it's impossible for you to fail. It's just not going to happen. And if you guys need any more help or advice from myself, reach out to me on Instagram, reach out to me on TikTok. All of my links will be below in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.